On this episode of the Best of Bias podcast, you got me, of course. It's another episode. It's another Friday. Thank you guys for being here. Got a couple of guests today. Chelsea is back. You guys loved that episode with her in it so much that I had to bring her back and get her and talk about some more stuff. A lot of stuff to talk about. We also got Daymo in the building today. So we got three people here to give their perspective. We're going to bring back up the courtiness topic with Michael B. Jordan because it was just me talking about it. So I want to get a girl's perspective and another guy's perspective on courtiness. We're going to talk that out a little bit. We're going to talk friend zone. We're going to talk travel. We're going to talk the Mexico situation. And then we got a whole bunch of cinema to talk about. Creed 3 was in the theaters. I told y'all we're going to review that. So me and Daymo are here to review that for y'all. Then we got Mando episode 2. We'll review that. We'll talk about some Snowfall, Last of Us. New Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer dropped. Seth Rogen produced. I think he might be direct. I don't know, but Seth Rogen has his hands in this one. And then we got a little bit about the Chris Rock stuff. Talk about some of the jokes that he made. I know you guys saw the live Chris Rock stand up on Netflix that just dropped. So a lot of stuff to talk about. Got some guests in the building. I'm excited for this episode. I hope you guys are too. And it's time. Welcome. Happy Friday again. New listeners, welcome. Old listeners, welcome back. It's time. Let's get it. Where that theme song at? It's right here. It's the best of bias. You need the earful. You should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. The best of bias. Yeah. It's the best of bias.
You are now listening to the Best of Bias podcast with Lydell Dinero and Hugo Twilight.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Lydell Dinero, and guess what? It's Friday. You know what that means. It's time for another Best of Bias podcast. You got your boy Lydell Dinero in the building, of course, and we got a couple of other guests in the building. You guys want to introduce yourselves? Go ahead and do so. You feel me?
Ladies first on International Women's Day, which was 2 days ago.
I think it's today, right?
I think it's today.
I know, but you just said it was Friday.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'm Chelsea. Hello.
Yep. Welcome back, Chelsea. Welcome back. And who's this on the bottom here?
You know, it's little Daymo Lee, POV, just kind of coming through, hollering at Swaggy. You already know.
You know what I'm saying? Yep, we out here. New podcast, new day. Hope you guys are enjoying your Friday. If you're rolling into work, you're almost there. It's almost the weekend time. If you off work, you head home. It's time to party. Let's get this podcast started. Your favorite podcast of the springtime, keeping it hot. But anyways, let's get right into it. Last week, we talked about my brother, Michael B. Jordan. We talked about him, and the movie Creed was gonna drop. We talked about some of the I want to say conversation, not around the movie itself, but just around Michael B. Jordan. The premiere was early last week. I want to say Wednesday, Thursday. Michael B. Jordan was, he directed Creed 3. You know what I mean? So it's his movie. He's out here, proud of himself, feeling himself. He's walking down the red carpet and he's stopped by somebody he recognizes. To the general public, this girl, she's well known in the podcast space. Her name is L'Oreal. Kind of, not related, but associated with Charlemagne the God and Breakfast Club and those kind of people. She has a podcast called The Bully and the Beast with one of Charlemagne the God's really good friends. It's kind of a messy podcast, you know what I'm saying? They talk about, shit involving like a lot of sex stuff, a lot of like kind of outrageous shock jockey type stuff. And I remember back in the days, like I said in the podcast before, L'Oreal had some stuff to say about Stilo Brim. And Stilo Brim is like Michael B. Jordan's best friend. They're both from New Jersey. She was calling him a bitch and shit like that. And I kind of felt like there was an overlying reason for this and stuff like that. But it just so happened she was interviewing on the red carpet for Michael B. Jordan's movie. And he happened to stop by her. Let me see this real quick. Stop by her and try to discuss some shit about the movie. Interview him about how he's feeling about his movie dropping, how he's feeling. And he comes out and says, "Aren't you the girl in high school?" Actually, it was middle school. They used to call me corny and make fun of me all the time and stuff like that, you and your friends. And she did. She's actually admitted that she used to call him corny for his name being Michael Jordan and him being nothing like Michael Jordan. and he used to walk around with a headshot because he was trying to become an actor, and he was from Newark, New Jersey, or some hood where people don't usually walk around with headshots and aren't on the straight and narrow. So she considered him to be corny. So he took that opportunity as his premiere. He's like, "Oh, aren't you the girl that called me corny back in the day?" And then she kind of got quiet, and then she basically kind of threw it in her face and was like, "Am I corny now? Am I still corny?" This topic here, what makes me broach a question I want to ask you guys. Corniness, this word, corniness, it has a negative connotation. But at the same time, it's like they label corny as somebody that's doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's a straight edge, somebody that's doing good things for themselves and not super hood or super doing shit that everybody kind of looks up to. How do you guys feel about the word corny? How do you guys feel about the negative connotation attached? Chelsea, let's start with you.
Hold on, I got a question for you, Pat.
Mhm.
Are you corny because your name is Patrick Washington?
I mean, I don't know.
Does he have a choice in what his name can be? Like, oh, he's knocking on the womb. Like, hey, make sure y'all don't name me this. Like,
Right. Yeah, they're kind of
how you
blaming
gonna
him
call
for his name
somebody?
being Michael Jordan, and he didn't name himself Michael Jordan. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel what you're saying about that. I don't think I'm corny. I mean, I was, I'm gonna get to my story. I just want to get it from a girl's perspective because a lot of the times guys are being called corny by girls, and that's when it matters kind of the most. I mean, a guy calls you corny, it's like whatever, nigga. But at the same time, when a girl calls you corny, it kind of hurts your soul sometimes. It's like, what do you find corny about me? Why am I corny? Why is corny a bad thing? And what do you find to be corny? So let's just break it down, Chelsea. Let them know what is corny to you and why is such a negative connotation attached.
So I would say, like, it depends on what kind of corny you're talking about. Like, somebody being like straight and narrow, whatever, I will never find corny. Do you? Whatever benefits you the most. To me, like, the only time I've used corny is like a corny dude or a corny line or a corny action that somebody does towards me. So I don't really take corny as far as like how somebody is, like somebody trying to do better for themselves in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say a corny action is?
I would say corny action. I mean, corny depends on the person too, also. Like, a female
Okay.
call a dude corny for him checking in 24/7, texting them all the time, or saying a corny line here and there. But I would say that, like, it also, the same exact line can be used by another dude, and if she's interested in that dude, it's not looked at corny. So, I mean, I kind of guess it depends on the person more so than the action, because I can't really think of like a corny action somebody's really done for me. I feel like everything is. I don't call people corny very often. I feel like it's like way rude.
Yeah. You know what's corny though? I just lost all my fucking bets today. That's fucking corny. Sasa Vujacic, or whatever that nigga's name is from the Bulls, the center, just hit a second three. Fucked my prop up 1.5 under. That was the last one I had.
Paul ain't giving you no tips, huh?
It ain't Paul. He has some tips himself, but I also share shit with him that he actually plays. He got hella dark on your screen. And he does win off that shit.
Can you still see me though?
Yeah, definitely. And Paul, not to sidetrack this conversation, but Paul bets hella. He won big that one time, so he puts in hella bets, and he uses those small ones to make up for the big ones that he loses. I peeped the game. But anyways,
he's got
yeah. But fucking yeah, that's corniness. To me, I feel like corniness is used a lot in Black culture to kind of describe guys. Girls go and say, oh, this guy is corny because he's not like, oh, selling drugs or out there wearing Jordans or dressing like everybody's dressing, or maybe he doesn't know how to dance the best. And it's just little things that I feel like in the Black community, they go ahead and try to label guys as corny as a negative connotation more so. I mean, I feel like, shoot, if somebody calls a white guy corny, I still feel like everything is still available to them, because a lot of the times in Black culture, they kind of already assume that a white guy is going to be corny, if that makes sense. Not to get super racial with it, but I just hear it a lot more in the Black community. If a girl doesn't find a guy interesting, if she's not how if she likes, that guy is corny. He's corny because he's making me pay rent. he's corny because he ain't paying for the whole dinner and asking me to chip in. Some of these things are corny, don't get me wrong, but I'm just giving examples of like where it comes up and how it's used. I don't ever hear girls being called corny.
Well, and it's definitely like a slang term, like
Mhm.
how you're saying. I don't know. I mean, yeah, not to get racial, but you lightweight don't see like white girls calling niggas corny and shit. They like, I mean, it's interesting because like maybe is it a way to kind of have the upper hand on somebody, like subliminally, like, oh, this nigga corny. So that puts him one step lower than where he's already at.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, and that just like Chelsea was saying, like, it's definitely based on the person, I think. Like, obviously, one dude can say one thing and it be stupid, and then another dude say that same exact thing, but like in a different way in that conversation that worked that time, the way she was feeling or something like that, and it just clicks a different way. So, but for girls like that, I don't feel like they're calling niggas corny, really. They're like, oh, I see what you do as corny, but I'm not calling you out as corny.
I feel that.
Yeah, like
Uh,
blowing up a female's phone for one dude can come off corny because you're not interested whatsoever. Like persistency could be cool if you're interested in the person, but
mm,
as far as like if it's a dude I'm not interested in and you're blowing up my phone, blowing up my DMs, I'm like, all right, this is corny. Get out of my stuff. You
yeah.
do too much. But if it's somebody you're interested in, it's a wholly different story.
Yeah, I definitely believe that as well. And I also believe in, not even just corniness, just like people being called nerds, people being bullied, stuff like that. I still find bullying kind of be weird because as the generations come, stuff that people are being called nerds for, everybody glorifies now. You know what I mean? Stuff comes full circle. Anime, comic books, superheroes, all that kind of shit that people used to get bullied
Video
for back in the day.
games.
Video games. Now that's the shit that everybody likes. You know what I'm saying? So I am not mad at Michael B. Jordan for throwing it back in people's faces after the glow up does happen. Because I'm one of the people that do believe in if you do have a glow up, and people did make fun of you back in the day or call you a nerd or call you corny, I feel like you should be able to throw it in their face, especially if they're in the same position they was and you were able to glow up and make positive decisions and make good things happen off your corniness. You know what I'm saying? For example,
I got,
go ahead.
go ahead. I was going to say, we didn't call Snoop Dogg corny for calling out like his elementary teacher or something like that. No. It was Biggie. Biggie basically was shitting on his elementary teacher for saying he wasn't gonna make it, and like, look
Right,
at me now in his
right,
song, and we glorify it. But then Michael B. Jordan says, "Oh, you were the one who called me corny, and now we call him corny."
right.
Like,
I kind of broached the topic honestly because a lot of people had some mixed kind of like reactions to it. Joe Budden podcast, Joe Budden was calling him corny for acting like
hey,
that.
but Joe Budden is corny sometimes. I
Yeah,
feel
he be
like he
hating. He be
corny too.
hating big time. He be hating for especially the Michael B. Jordan shit. Like, what are you hating on? What are you hating on him for? You calling him corny for talking mess or not even talking mess. He did it so respectfully. Like, oh, you're the person who used to call me corny in middle school. Just kept it moving, smiled and kept it moving. He didn't diss her. He didn't disrespect her in a super way. She was the disrespectful one. You know what I'm saying? For some people to say that he was wrong for diminishing a black woman on a platform that he should be empowering her. Like, come on now, you were making fun of this
Why?
man.
Exactly. She was
Yeah,
diminishing him, calling him corny.
exactly.
Uh, and I didn't actually see the video, but it also seems like it could have been like almost like a realization type of reaction. Like, oh, weren't you something like you remember? Like, oh,
Well, me personally, I know him. He heard about the Stilo Brim thing in the interaction they had when I don't know if he was on their podcast or they're on Charlemagne's podcast and L'Oreal was there. Like she was just real life calling him like out of his name, calling him a bitch. So Stilo is his best friend. So for when you see this girl and she used to talk about you, she's dissing your best friend on platforms. I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna make it known that I know I hear what you're saying, but look at me now. People that are more so in that people call corny are usually the most successful people, especially in our culture. We have Michael B. Jordan, everybody calls corny. Nick Cannon, everybody calls corny, and this man has his hands in everything from a young age since he was a teenager, and everybody was calling him corny. Well, he got 27 kids too, but he he is getting money. And Drake,
See that
everybody
new
calls
show?
Drake corny, and Drake is everywhere, one of the biggest rappers in the world, you know, doing everything he wants to do. So I don't know. I just kind of feel like corniness is kind of misused, and I feel like it's making a comeback. So shout out to all my corny niggas.
Well, right? But I think it's sad because it's like we use being real as corny. You know what I'm saying? Like dudes showing their sensitive side or their goofy side, or like not trying to be this fucking like type of person that has to be a certain way all the time. Like people are now talking down on being corny, and then we wonder why people don't want to be real like with
Yeah.
other people, because people are talking down niggas so much. So it's
Yeah.
like I could see why people fucking ain't fucking with it.
I definitely agree. Chelsea, I got a question for you. Do you think people are scared to be corny towards women because they will, you know, they're not what these women want. They don't like the corny guy. They're afraid to be friend zoned. Like that transition? You like that transition? The the friend zone is a scary place to be. I mean, being corny and not being, you know, me personally, I think a lot of things in this world guys do is to impress women or try to find somebody for themselves to, you know, enjoy life with, spend their lives with, reproduce with, and stuff like that. Corniness, corniness could lead to friend zoning. Are you familiar with friend zoning?
I'm I'm pretty familiar.
Okay. So my question is, friend zone, is it possible to get out of a friend zone once you enter it? That is my question to you.
Honestly, for me, no. I think a lot of it though depends on the level of friendship. I've been in a good amount of situations where it's like I know the person is interested in me, but I've made my boundaries clear. And once I establish that type of friendship with somebody, I don't ever want to risk getting into a situation where that friendship is lost, where that companionship or whatever is lost in any way.
Mm-hmm.
It has happened a couple of times. I mean, it doesn't go over well at all. But just as a whole, there's certain people that you can't look at like in that way. And for
Right.
me, once I say that you're like my friend, you're my boy, like you're one of my really good guy friends, like you'll never pass into more than that.
Ooh. Sorry, guys out there. Take this as a hint that the friend zone is the place you're gonna stay at for a while. So
Yeah.
I get it. I agree as well. Yeah. Friends, I mean, shit. Pretty much every girl I meet is in the friend zone. So you already know how I get down. But yeah, I'm a
I
friendly
think we
guy.
should make a dating spot called the friend zone, to where girls can take guys to get the hint. Like you go to the friend zone like a little Dave and Buster's on like a friend date. It's like
they put hands on the stamps on your hand to say friend. That would be hella funny.
I feel like a lot of girls don't make the friend zone clear. Like there's a difference. Like if you're in the friend zone with me, I'll straight up tell you're in the friend zone and it kind of is what it is. If you don't take it, then that's kind of on you. I've made my stance clear. But I do know a lot of girls that will play into that factor, like use that person as their benefit, knowing that they're interested, which is definitely and obviously wrong.
Oh, that's terrible.
But there's also guys that like, if you can't take a hint, then like it kind of
Yeah.
you, and in a sense. I mean,
Well, I agree. Yeah, sometimes you have to take that hint. Me personally, I mean, if you try to cross that line a couple of times and it's like bad for you, that's when, three strikes, you're out type of shit. Yeah, people, have a hard time with it as well. I don't know how it would work, especially when somebody does fall for their friend. Do they have to stop being friends with that person in order to potentially be with them? Or do they just continue being friends with the inner thought of, oh, I want to be with this person, but I can't? What do you do as a guy? I don't know. That's not really for you to answer, but it's like
Yeah.
it is kind of weird in a kind of weird situation. But I do feel like it is protection from crazy exes. Another transition. Do you have any crazy ex stories you want to share with the people that this friend zoning could help prevent? You know what I'm saying? I am not against the friend zone at all. If you need to put a guy in the friend zone, and you think this person will be more beneficial as a friend than actually as somebody you're interested in, and again, you said you don't want to hurt that person. You value their friendship more than what you think would happen if you guys were in a relationship. You actually are helping prevent yourself from these crazy exes, and I commend you from that for that. It's better to have guy friends than a whole bunch of crazy exes. You know what I mean? But do you have any stories? My bad. I'm just sitting over jabbering.
I mean, I feel like everybody has a couple crazy exes or some crazy ex stories or whatever the situation may be. I don't ever use like my guy friends for that. Like, you're my best friend. I've never called you and been like, hey, some crazy stuff's happening. Like, I need you or whatever. Like, it's definitely something I keep separate from the two situations. I definitely use my guy friends as like a sounding board for advice and stuff like that. But had a good amount of crazy exes. I mean, there's no specific stories I can really think of.
Good answer.
I've had,
Were they crazy before they were exes though? That's the real question.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody likes a little bit of crazy, like a little,
So it's your judgment.
but I mean, there has been it's been, I mean, I'm not saying that females don't do it too, but it's always surprising when a guy like creates a fake page to get into contact with you. I have friends that
Whoa.
like their exes will make new email addresses constantly to even email them, fake numbers. Luckily, I live
fake emails I'm making are trial subscriptions.
I feel
okay.
that.
Anyway, luckily I live on the second floor now. I have had an ex or two like
Ooh,
bang on my window in the middle of the night. It's usually like they're
they
drunk.
brought the ladder?
No, now no. I used to live on the first floor, so that did happen quite often. Thankfully,
Now they're
second
gonna be
story.
throwing rocks. Throwing
Well,
rocks
nobody,
With the boombox?
there's nobody that knows where I live, so we're good.
Oh wow.
But
You gotta
yeah,
roll
no,
the block twice like there ain't no place to park.
Yeah. Well, like her old house. Anyways, go ahead.
my old place didn't have no parking. Here, parking, but ain't nobody about to know. But no, like I've had situations where they popped up at places they knew I was gonna be,
Whoa.
just bump into me. Had a couple like stalkerish situations. It's definitely scary being a girl out there and having exes, or even not even exes. Like there's even been dudes that have like I've let take me out once, like to pizza, never messed around, nothing, and all of a sudden it's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I feel it. Yeah, there's some. I've not really had any crazy exes. Well,
Never
towards
had
me.
windows broken, no nothing, no.
No. I am a
Um,
nice person.
that don't mean your exes ain't crazy.
Well, they're crazy as people, but they're not crazy towards me. It's a difference. It's a difference. You know what I'm saying? They may be crazy in their own way, in their own life, but very cordial with everybody. I love everybody. You know what I'm saying? I wish no harm upon anybody, but I do feel it. I've met crazy people that are in relationships and they do crazy shit. For sure, for sure.
What do you think makes somebody act crazy like that though? Like from a guy's perspective, because I've had crazy guys and I'm kind of curious on like
I don't know. I mean, I feel like you really just it's dudes is crazy because like in my head, like I don't even care who you are. Like you could be a celebrity, and if I went on one date with you, like I'm not gonna be crazy. Like I just would be like, damn, that's crazy if I was doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I don't know. That's the weird thing. But I mean, shit, love do drive motherfuckers crazy, and
it's not even
I don't
love.
know.
It's vagina.
Well,
I feel
no, but
that's
see, that's
crazy,
the thing. Like, well, yeah. So how does somebody go on a first date and eat pizza and then get no vagina and then be crazy?
Yeah. See, that's that. See, you gotta do some better vetting before you go on these dates because
telling you.
what'd you put in the pizza? Some uh some
Ooh,
some
Probably make
hypnotic potion? I'm just kidding. But
you know,
yeah,
it'd work with better vetting, huh, King? Or huh, Pat?
yeah, vetting. You need to do that. You need to do that. Hey, make sure because people is crazy out here.
they
Speaking
all
of cra
but go ahead.
what'd you say?
So they all start off normal for the most part.
Well, of course, of course. It's just like sometimes if you want to, talk about it, once they get a hint of a lifestyle, if you're a cool person, you're putting it down right, you're cooking for them, you're a nice person, you got cable, you got Netflix, it could be little things that a person enjoys and gets used to. And then once you don't
Because you
show the
can't
same
share your
attention,
password no more.
oh, fuck that. Yeah, 17th. And that's when right when power drops, they said, nah, no more. Um, yeah, I feel it. I feel it. It's all about safety though. It's all about safety and actually finding that person that you want to be with for real. Do you guys partake in dating apps?
No.
Well,
I haven't.
I haven't either, but I just kind of feel like I didn't know people still use them. When I hear people talk about dating apps now, I feel it, especially since the pandemic, because people have to go back to dating apps to kind of meet people, because the contact with people is kind of difficult at that time. But shoot, I didn't know these apps were still popping like that and people were still finding love on these apps. And the more I hear about them, the more that have been created. You know what I'm saying? Plenty of fish, fucking Tinder,
Mm.
Bumble, Raya for the rich people, Grinder, fucking
Only Raya I know is the last
The Last Dragon?
dragon. Oh, I was gonna make sure I had it right. I was like, last
the
dragon.
last dragon. But yeah, man, a lot of people are still using this, especially like older people, because I mean they're looking for certain things. It's interesting. Seeing older people date is really interesting to me. Um, I watched a show where
I
this lady was mad that this guy hasn't been married before and hasn't had kids, so he didn't have the experience to date her. Like,
Damn, that's like jobs nowadays asking you for right out of college, you need 2 or 3 years experience. You
yeah,
just graduated. What do you
yeah,
mean?
that's shitty. Yeah,
Um, but now I think for older, it's funny because like when I think about dating apps, because I haven't really ever used them. Um, I'm older, I guess. But I feel like it would be a lot easier. Like we had to meet people the hard way, like in person. Like
yeah,
you can lightweight get a well, I mean, I guess not. We met people through like MySpace and stuff. We just didn't have like specifically you had to talk to people normally, not as like trying to date, I guess. We would just talk to people through messages and like MySpace and
Yeah,
AOL and
but there's like catfishes out there. Like you can't really believe what you see. Like I have friends that like have been on dating apps and things like that. And like people be real weird. They don't use it so much as like a way to like meet somebody and actually date. A lot of people use it more so as just hookup apps and then ghosting. Like
that is
so
so
I feel like
crazy.
you got to be smart though. Like there would be no way I would go on a dating app, start talking to a person, and not be like, "Hey, my requirements are we got to FaceTime for like 10 minutes, and I got to see that you're a real person. I got to
Right.
see who you are, and that's all I need, and then we can move forward." And
Yeah.
like somebody that's going through like living understands, okay, catfishing is a thing.
mhm.
This shouldn't be a problem. Like 10 minutes of if you can't FaceTime me for like 5 minutes to prove you're a real person, we don't need to be dating anyway. So
Exactly.
That's
I
true.
feel like girls, especially girls, because y'all know you guys have the upper hand. You just be like, FaceTime me, show me you're real. I'm not gonna show up and fucking and if they don't, And if they keep dragging you along, that is your decision to keep letting it go. I'm sorry. We live in an age where not everybody's got a little time. So if you're going weeks and weeks without trying to FaceTime me for 5 minutes, you're fake.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there shouldn't be a situation where you're talking to somebody and you get into a real legit relationship and you don't want to see the person. That is kind of crazy. And for somebody to say like no, that's wild. Me personally, I consider Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat to be a dating app as well, honestly, because that's where I did most of my talking to people. I would go on Instagram where you can see their pictures, see how they worked up, built this account. I know you can be catfished on there as well, but I don't know, the swiping and the algorithms and the bullshit like that is just is a lot. It's a lot in my opinion. And shit, people can do anything with this one basic picture in a profile. Just say how old they are in one little edited picture or whatever. I don't even know how it works. I can tell how old I am and how far away from that kind of shit I was. I would never get matches on fucking Tinder and shit like that. So I was like, fuck this shit, and just started to try to meet people the real way. Instagram.
Hey, nah, it's crazy because like that shit's a real thing. Hella celebrities like get their shot like music wise or working with somebody or reaching out to somebody. They're like, yep, I DM'd on Instagram. I think we were interviewing like Amber Rose on Shirley's show, and she made a remix of like Too Short song or something.
Yeah, some weird shit.
She DM'd him for like the rights or was saying it, and basically is like, yeah, well, yeah, and he's like, pull up, and I think they like actually work together and stuff. So like when it comes down to that shit, that shit
works.
I saw a video the other day. Dude was talking about, man, it sucks. We live in a world to now. Your grandma, she had no shot of meeting Luther Vandross or Elvis Presley, but now your fucking favorite rapper can DM your girl and she gone.
Exactly. That's just fucked up. That is ridiculous. If Rihanna texted me, I'd be out of here. I'm just playing. Travel. I know you guys heard about that Mexico shit. Those 4 people being kidnapped by the cartel coming in through from South Carolina to Mexico to try to get like a tummy tuck, they say. They drove and tried to go through the Texas-Mexico border, and they got, at the border, they got kidnapped by the cartel. 3 of them died, and only one of them survived and was able to get back across the border. People say, the story hasn't really been confirmed yet, but people are saying that they're going to get a tummy tuck from a Mexico doctor and they got set up by the doctor. Some people are saying that the cartel has been kidnapping on that side of the border in that area, kidnapping drug smugglers. And they think that these people were coming in to get drugs and bring it back across the border. And that's why they got picked up as well. It was 3 guys and a girl. All 3 of the guys got killed. They tried to run at the border once the guys rammed them and shit like that, and they shot them at the border, like, oh shit, pure daylight. The girl survived and was able to get back across and was telling the story to CNN and shit like that. But there's a bunch of details missing. Yeah, it's a crazy story. And it kind of scares people to kind of go to Mexico and, do their thing. Spring break is coming. I don't know why I use this as a transition to ask you if you guys are doing any traveling anytime soon. You guys going anywhere crazy? Anywhere fun? Anywhere beautiful? It doesn't necessarily have to be crazy like Mexico was, but anywhere?
I'm not going anywhere. I leave to Hawaii in 3 weeks to go visit my family. So that'll be fun. I usually do.
What island?
I'm going to Maui. I always do.
Okay. Young Maui.
And then this summer I'm going to Greece for a week. Santorini.
Okay. That should be exciting. I heard a lot of stuff about Santorini. That's what's up. What about you, Daymo? You traveling?
Where you going
anywhere?
out there?
Oh.
No, my broke ass staying home. I'm gonna be traveling in my room.
I'm going to Santorini after school ends, when summer break starts for the kids and I can take off more time. Just
for the hell of it, or
We're going on like a girls trip. It's funny because my best friend's mom bought us these tickets to Mexico for our 30th birthday, which obviously was a minute ago. But like passport issues with my friend, and I mean a bunch of other things came up, work and all this, kept pushing it back, kept pushing it back. Then there was all issues in Mexico, and we were like, nah, I'm good. Like I'd rather go to Greece or Santorini where I could like walk around and have fun. I feel like last time I was in Mexico, we did an all-inclusive and it was for a wedding, and we pretty much were at the all-inclusive 90% of the time, like barely left.
Oh, yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, we barely left, which was smart on our part. But also I wanted to go somewhere where I could really explore and just go somewhere different, since I had already been to Mexico, and maybe when stuff dies down, I'll go back and visit again. But yeah.
I feel that. I'm going to Mexico myself, but I'm staying at close to the border out here by San Diego. I ain't going where they was at. They was all the way on the other side by San Antonio, Texas, trying to cross the border. Nah, I'm going right there by San Diego, going probably to Rosarito, and that's as far as I'm going into Mexico. The wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and I'm on my way out. You know what I'm saying? Spring break, week 3 at Papa's and Beer. Young Bia is gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? Try to see what's up with her, see if she can come to be on the podcast or something, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm excited. I'm just trying to stay as far away from the gang violence and cartel violence as I can. And trying to keep it safe for a bachelor party. Shout out Kyle and Amanda, about to get married out there. Not in Mexico, but soon. But yeah, traveling. If you guys are traveling out there, Best of Bias listeners, be safe. Watch the show. Watch over your shoulder. Know where you're going. Have somebody with you that knows the lay of the land, or just be sure that you know it's good, because you never know. Other countries are different. Obviously, rules are different. We saw what happened with Brittany Griner. We saw what happened with these people that just went to Mexico. Even though they may have had ill intentions, it doesn't matter. Just wherever you go, just know the lay of the land. Watch yourself, watch your peoples, watch your belongings, and just be safe. You know what I'm saying? Love, live life, proceed, progress.
You got to watch your belongings. And,
Dwayne Carter said that.
Yeah. I was gonna let you. You got to watch your belongings in the Bay Area now. Shit,
exactly.
Breaking in the windows and stuff.
Yeah, I saw this video where people were able to steal these Hellcats from this dealership in Kentucky. Stole 6 Hellcats in 45 seconds out of the dealership.
Ooh, they said going in 60, watches gain 15, going in 45.
But we are to the end of, not to the end of the podcast, but getting to a commercial break. That's all the topics I have for you, young Chelsea. Thank you for joining us. She's about to pop off the podcast. Me and Daymo are going to move on into some cinema, hitting the Best of Bias cinema corner. You know what I'm saying? What we got on the corner, you never know. But thank you again, Chelsea. We want to have you back soon. Don't hesitate to get back on the pod. Everybody loves seeing your face. Everybody loves hearing what you're talking about. Last video with you in it got a whole bunch of views. Hey, you guys, I don't know why y'all being biased. Like, actually, I know why you are. I'm just playing. But anyway, yeah, it's the Best of Bias, and I guess Chelsea is the best. Thank you again. Anything you want to say to the people before we get up out of here?
No, just thanks for listening. Appreciate it, and let me know when you want me back.
Oh yeah, anytime. Every Wednesday we record. Every Friday we drop. So whenever you have something to say, you have something to talk about, don't hesitate. We got a platform for you. The people love to hear from you. And Daymo, don't you move. We'll be right back with some cinema. And the challenge started today. So I'm gonna try. We're not gonna spend too much time. We got a lot to talk about in the cinema corner, but we ain't gonna talk too much about it, because the challenge USA dropped today, and I gotta watch it 2 episodes too. So that's like 2 hours of shit. What time is it right now? And the Nuggets about to lose. God damn it. But yeah, it's the Best of Bias podcast. Go get you some drink.
Y'all see this Fremont?
Oh yeah, Fremont High School. We ain't talked about that really on the pod. Fremont, just a Fremont reunion right now. But yeah, it's the Best of Bias podcast. Go get you a refreshment. Go get you a soda. Go get you some water, because I know I'm about to. Go get you a snack, because it's about to be a movie, and we gonna talk about movies. It's the Best of Bias podcast. We out. I mean, to a commercial. And we are back. You know what it is, the Best of Bias Podcast. Lydell Dinero in the building, Daymo in the building, and it's time for the Cinema Corner, where we gonna talk cinema, TV shows, and a whole bunch of stuff we're watching right now. Give brief reviews on where we're at in the show, and just some stuff we want y'all to be interested in, and stuff you're probably already interested in, and kind of wondering how other people are feeling about the shows. So let us do it for you. We out here on the corner. Let's talk about this cinema. Starting with Creed, we saw it this weekend. Of course, was directed by Michael B. Jordan. A runtime of 1 hour and 56 minutes. Kind of, I could have used a little bit more. I'll talk about that when I talk about likes and dislikes. $75 million budget. Made $58 million back the opening weekend. In comparison to the other Creeds, the first Creed did 29 million opening weekend. The second one did 35. So it has been elevating each time. This time it made 75, or excuse me, it made 58 million. So it's doing good opening weekend. It's definitely going to make its money back. And that's good for a first-time directorial debut for Michael B. Jordan. Let's see. Tessa Thompson played his wife, Bianca. Jonathan Majors, of course, played Dame Anderson. You know, Adonis was played by Michael B. Jordan. Duke, the trainer, was played by Wood Harris. A whole bunch of other cameos we had in the movie, but those are the main people. How did you like the movie? Let's start with that. And yeah, what was your overall impression of the movie?
I thought it was a really good movie. I really, really liked it. I saw it the other day, and I'm trying to say, like, I would give it rating, or would you want to, let's talk
Yeah,
about
you
it
don't.
first
Yeah,
and then
talk
give
about it a
rating?
little bit first. Yeah. First,
Um,
also, spoiler alert: we're talking about the movie a week later. So yeah, hope you saw it already. We're gonna spoil it for you. So go ahead.
but the cinematography was amazing. I didn't see it in IMAX
Oh,
or
really?
3D, which I definitely need to go back and see, which is probably crazy because they did shoot it on these new cameras.
IMAX cameras, yeah.
Um, and it was the first
Sports
sports
movie.
movie filmed in history on these. Um, and so that's one thing that I like is it's allowing to tell the story in a way we haven't seen it before.
Hmm.
Shots that are different and really intrigue you. When you kind of leave a movie and you're like, oh, wow, like those shots were crazy. That's how you know it hit that way, right?
Hmm.
A lot of times you leave a movie and you don't really think of how it's shot or how it looked visually. Not really just, I mean, I guess it's different for people who just go for entertainment, but like me, I kind of see how they portray the story, how they
Hmm.
shoot it, different things they do. And I think Creed 3 did a really good job at showing us a new like feel and like view of a boxing movie.
Yeah, I feel that for sure. Yeah. They did kind of attribute anime to how they shot the video or how they shot the fight scenes. The how the slow motion scenes were, how the body ripples. They called what they call it? They called it like this cross punch that they were doing. They said they took it directly from Dragon Ball Z. How they were fighting close together. If you watch Dragon Ball Z, they do a lot of like the motions they do, the fighting, the punches. The I guess it was I want to try to get a pinpoint a scene. Maybe like when they're doing like the straight rights and you see their heads kind of bob, or you do like a right cross and you see a quick jab and their head just kind of jerk back and you see the ripples of the skin and stuff like that. They said it was really they looked at anime a lot to see the fight
It's
scenes.
so like a lot of fast to slow motion.
Right,
So
right,
it's like
right.
the punches initially really quick,
Hmm.
and then it like stops and kind of goes into slow motion, like yeah, how a lot of anime does. That's
And that's
pretty
pretty
cool.
tight. And I really like the fact that they kind of what's the word, ingratiated some anime stuff into there for the for the younger generation. Me personally, my feelings about the movie, I liked it. I really did like it, but I feel like a lot of shit happened too fast for me. I want, like, of course we're already starting at the beginning of the movie with him fighting his last fight and him basically retiring. And there's already another champ. It kind of didn't really show too much of Felix being champion. We saw him sparring and stuff like that, but we didn't see him take any fights to show how raw he was. You know what I mean? It's just we saw that he was knocking out all his sparring partners, but we didn't see how he was in the actual ring. You know what I'm saying?
So I would have rather seen did Michael B. Jordan get all three of those belts just by one fight, or did he like get them individually?
So I think they just assumed that he was just winning over time and just got all the belts unanimous.
So
Yeah.
instead of seeing Felix, I would have rather seen think of like a Space Jam opening, not just like that. This is a random thought, but like a Space Jam opening of him winning those three fights and getting those belts.
Yeah.
But if we would have focused on Felix, I think that would have drawn away from Michael B's Jordans, or Michael B. Jordan's.
I kind of felt like they could have showed like
story.
2 quick ones, just like, oh, like I'm taking this fight, just a quick show, like a quick clip of him knocking him down, ding, and the guy gets knocked out, and he's doing another fight, ding, this guy gets knocked out, showing that he can't really be fucked with, because Michael B. Jordan's supposed to be at this point a promoter that's putting out boxers that are champs, and he's trying to get Felix this next fight, but yet we don't see how raw Felix really is. You know what I mean? And just the fact that, well, the unrealisticness of Damian just getting out of jail and getting the unanimous title fight right away and just getting to go for the belt. All the contenders that were before him probably would have had to fight Dame before he got that immediate title fight. There's no way
they probably wouldn't have let that happen.
There's no way that every contender is worse than Dame, and they're just like, okay, yeah, just let this guy have a shot. Just coming straight out of jail, didn't have to train. Yeah. But I liked it overall. Jonathan Majors definitely did his thing. I just feel like
I think it might have been better if they would have let Felix fight that dude first, beat him,
Drago,
and then that dude wanted a rematch, and then they broke his arm.
Exactly.
That would have made Felix seem a little bit more like
have the first fight actually with Drago. There's no reason you need to break his hand. If he's raw, he'll beat Drago, and then he'll move on.
That also gives Dame more time to like get ready, in shape.
Exactly. And my thing is, it didn't have to be Felix. Just give me a couple of fights where Dame, when he wins the championship, let Dame get some fights under his belt before he immediately has to give up the belts back to Creed, which didn't make sense because he was going to retire again anyways and give up the belts again. It's like, what the fuck was that about?
The only way I could have seen that working, I would say like, he should have like made it somewhere before he got locked up, right?
Right.
So he should have been younger. Michael B. Jordan should have been younger, and then he should have already like accomplished one of the things, right? Like
at
made the
pro.
U.S. team, or or like South Africa, and was like named something. So when he came out, people actually was like, "Oh, this dude just got out," type of thing. And maybe that would have been like, oh, okay. But nah, I feel you.
How dope would it be just to call Stephen A and be like, hey, I got a message for First Take. Let me just...
Hey, for real, huh?
He said, hey, and he had a conversation with bruh on the actual show. That is crazy.
Yeah, Stephen A just let it happen.
Where the fuck was Molly at? But yeah, I loved it. I'm a fan of Tessa Thompson. I'm a fan of how she was actually portraying a deaf woman. You know what I mean? At the beginning, she was even talking like she was deaf a little bit, and she kind of kept it up the whole movie. It kind of slipped a little bit towards the end, but she was still believable as deaf. It was dope that he actually learned sign language to talk to his daughter in the movie for that. That was sick. Again, I like the last fight scene where everybody disappeared and they were just kind of going at it, just whooping each other's ass. And we came back. When everybody came back, it was in the 11th, 12th round. And kind of got to...
I really like that too. It kind of gave you like a different feel of stuff. Kind of like, I would have liked if they were narrating it a little bit. like why he was so mad, or like what, or just saying like, I don't know, just something instead of like grunting like animals.
They were just kind of
Because
fun. Ah,
it was a
ah.
really strong scene, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So if you had some like even some simple ass powerful words like, I loved you and you were my family, you disappeared, or something hella simple, like I feel like that would have made it stronger, like why they had this shit like built up.
right. And I also thought it kind of, it was good, but there's a little bit of plot hole stuff that I was thinking about. Shit, you didn't have to pull a gun. The cops are around the corner anyway. If the cops saw these dudes beating up a little kid, the cops would have came over there and took care of the dudes. I don't think he necessarily had to pull out a gun, or at least just help them fight. Get one of the dudes off of them, then y'all fighting now. You boxers, you should probably be able to hold your own. But for him to pull a gun, I kind of feel like that's going to get you put in jail no matter what happens. And for at the end, for him to just come to the realization that ain't on you. That's none of our fault. Like what?
Yeah, like nah, I don't know. Yeah, it should have been a little bit. That's what I'm saying. Like, if he would have said that while they were fighting, that would have been like stronger. None of this on you, like type of shit. Like,
And that could
I
have
mean,
been
I get it.
it would have been even better. He could have had Dame as one of his fighters. He would have been the best fighter he had. That's my thing. Once he beat Felix, be like, oh, I'm gonna start promoting this dude too. He ain't got no promoter. I'll promote him, and he'll be my next fighter, the new champion. Like, come on now. They just kind of added a whole bunch of conflict that didn't really need to be there. But I get it. They're, friends in the past that need to reconcile, and there's room for spinoffs and stuff. I wouldn't doubt it. I know they're already talking about doing a Drago show with dude that played
I think
Drago.
they might do a 4.
Oh yeah, they're definitely gonna do a 4. They said the 4 is already in the works, and there's spinoffs that are
Okay.
coming. Sylvester Stallone, he was already kind of mad that he wasn't involved in this last Creed movie that was directed by Michael B. Jordan, but I think he's involved with making the uh what the hell what's that big dude's name? I just said his name, like the Drago show. So I think it's going to be a show about Drago, and I'm pretty sure he didn't die in the last one, so I think he can just make a pop up in the 4, and they can just reconcile everything that way.
Yeah.
Personally,
Okay.
yeah, I think that could probably happen. What else did I have? Uh, I thought they would use that checkmate thing in the last fight, but they didn't use it. They only used it once. Remember when Damien was young and he was watching dudes' body movements, and once he did find it, he was like checkmate, and then he knocks him out.
He did use it.
But not in the final fight. Not in the final fight. After after the fight Michael B. Jordan used is like, okay, I thought he was going to use that in the fight to knock out Damien, but he didn't necessarily do it. He just knocked him out.
Yeah, I feel it.
You know what
Well,
I'm
that
saying?
would have been fun. You can't let Dame know the Showtime knock the knock you out is coming, because if
Oh
he
yeah,
hits him with the checkmate,
he already knows. He's like, oh fuck.
oh shit, I gotta cover up something.
And I'm not too sure about boxing rules. How was the shit that Damien was doing illegal?
I don't think it. Well, so only one thing was, uh, but like every time he punched him in his arm,
In his
it was
shoulder.
fine.
And
Yeah,
everybody's like, he's
yeah.
fighting dirty. He's fighting dirty. He just punched
I
him in the
forgot
shoulder.
what it was. I know, but it's interesting because like people don't think about that. So it's like it hella made you think like,
What?
hold on, what?
He just punched
But
him in the
he is
shoulder.
like he's that jailhouse strong. So it's like it's smart.
You see how he was
He's like,
blocking?
yeah.
He's like, nigga, what?
You're
Yeah.
so used to Kane just going like
Yeah.
that.
And he was way more
Uh,
intimidating in this than he was in Kang or in Ant-Man. If this
I
Dame, if
know.
this variant was in Kang, he'd be whooping everybody's ass. He don't even need his powers. It's whack, 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 whack.
Yeah, he was Dame the Conqueror, nigga.
Got that one fight money and started wilding. When he hit Michael B.
Hey,
Jordan, he
for
went out like a
real.
punk for that though. He had a gun, but he wasn't gonna shoot him. He wasn't gonna shoot him. And if he gonna punch you, he ready to
Nah.
box. He ready to box. He's like, nah, I'm not even gonna give you the sensation or the satisfaction of fighting you right here in front of these people. Yeah, he's a bitch for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I like the movie. Did you want to rate it real quick before we moved on to Mando?
I say like 8.6, not 8.9. No, I'll give it a 9.
I'm about to say using the Anthony scoring system.
Nah, that's that. Oh yeah.
8.96, 8.3, maybe 8.4. But yeah, I did like it. I'll give it an 8. I would definitely say 8. Yeah, it left room for more. It was his first movie. But he did a good job. Soundtrack was really good. So I liked it. I liked it a lot. Let's move on to Mando. You saw episode 2. I haven't talked to you about episode 1 of season 3. How'd you feel about season 3 so far?
I like it. I think it's starting off pretty well. I'm not gonna lie, the last episode I'll have to watch it again. It was really dark.
Yeah,
Maybe
it
it was
was
just
a
my
lot.
TV,
Mhm.
but a lot of stuff I didn't like get visually like comprehend what was going on too much. Like I just knew what they were doing. But so far, I mean, I think it opened up pretty well. And I do like that they are implementing Grogu a little bit more and kind of showing he's growing and getting older for sure. So
Yeah, he's
I
getting raw.
definitely think they're moving in the right direction for sure.
Definitely. I liked the first episode. It was kind of weird to me. It was just kind of like they're still doing the whole the Mando thing. We have to go do this thing to get a thing, to get a thing, to get somewhere, to get a thing type thing.
Yeah.
He you know what I mean? He first goes and sees that droid that blew up or got shot up when or I think it got blown up, self-destructed when they were stuck in that bar, and it went out and saved them, and they got turned it into a statue. I forgot what the droid's name was, but Mando is trying to bring that droid back because that's the only droid that he trusted. Then he goes back to Navarro trying to get the droid fixed and shit like that. Me personally, number 1 was just like a rehash, welcome back type of shit. It wasn't the biggest like premiere, like, okay, welcome back, it's been a while. It was like, okay, this is what you've seen, you already know what's good, we're just gonna throw you right back in it. And then this episode kind of made you a little more comfortable. Last episode we saw Bo-Katan sitting in the throne telling him that he has to go to Mandalore to bathe in the waters to redeem himself because he is a phosphate, whatever the shit was called. Because he took off his helmet. In this one, we got to see what Mandalore looked like. They said it was toxic or poisonous or some shit like that. He goes there and realizes it's not toxic. And he goes in the mines and he just gets captured by this weird ass robot shit. And basically, Bo-Katan, this I think this episode is more so about Bo-Katan. She goes down there to save Mando, and she kind of realizes that the lore of the Mandalorian is actually real. You can tell in her tone of voice when she was talking to Mando that she didn't really believe in the history of them. She thought it was kind of like all fairy tales. And the Mandalorians say this, the Mandalorians say that, kind of in disbelief. But when Mando got sucked up into the water when he tried to redeem himself and she saw that monster down there that she thought was a myth, she started to believe. And I thought that was hella interesting about this episode. Bo-Katan, I think she's really going to end up being the leader of the Mandalorians because you saw how she was wielding that dark saber, though. She was out there.
Hey, so I noticed that. I was looking at my notes and I was gonna say she picked up that shit like it was nothing. And I
Exactly.
was like, how did this fool Mando just like have hella trouble with it? And she just did it like it was nothing.
She's supposed to, because she said she was royalty. And I think that she really was supposed to be the one to have it, but in order to have it, remember, you had to defeat the person that had it before. And Mando defeated Mateen,
Yeah,
so he had to wield it unless she wanted to beat him in combat or whatever. But she picked that shit up and knocking shit down, killed the robot that caught Mando hella easy. And yeah.
super quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch that one over.
Yep. It was pretty dope. Pretty dope. Well, since you didn't really see much of that one, it was dope. Everybody check that out. Um, Mando gets himself in another situation. He gets caught hella quick. This, like I said, this episode is pretty much about Bo-Katan. We do get to see Grogu do more shit. He did the force jump. We saw him fuck up one of the little monster things that was trying to kill and eat Mando with the force. He's getting better at the force and stuff like that. But I want to see
Yeah,
him
he be
grow up a
dipping in
little
his
bit.
little pod too.
Yeah, his pod. But it was cool. Snowfall though, episodes 1 through 3 are out. How do you feel about Snowfall on FX? New episode dropped today, so I think episode 4 might be out. We're recording this on Wednesday, so it came out today.
I might be one behind then. Shoot.
Yeah, you got to watch that today.
I think it's good. I think it's going good. It is getting somewhat repetitive. They are for sure like setting the stage for whatever big is about to happen. So I definitely think like that's gonna be some shit goes down for sure.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot, like you said, a lot of repetitive stuff. Me personally, I'm still trying to figure out who the hell his wife is. Like, what's her backstory? She kind of just jumped into the story and was there. But we're seeing that her mom did some sketchy shit. Her mom left her in a Paris jail or something. So I think her mom's gonna end up fucking her over in the long run. Just Franklin beefing with his family. I think the last episode was with Leon in Africa, and him and his girl wanted to stay in Africa, didn't really want to come back to LA because that's where all the drugs and shit. He realized the way of like he was ruining his people, putting the drugs into the community is kind of like just like the people in Africa sending the slaves off into slavery, selling them into slavery. So he kind of had that realization in Africa, and his wife hella wanted to stay there, but he had to go back to get his money right. And that's when he realized that fucking Franklin and his family was all killing each other and fucking each other's business up. And yeah, and all in all, white dude, what's white dude's name? Teddy, yeah, stole $73 million from him, and everybody's trying to get Teddy ultimately. So,
and he was the one that fucked everything up.
Yeah.
Like nigga, why you do that? But I mean, you can tell he's going through some shit.
Yeah, all he wants is to be recognized by his country as somebody that helped win a war. That's kind of
when it ain't
weird.
gonna happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like they ain't fucking with you.
Just killing people, fucking communities over, just so yeah, they don't fuck with them anyways. Last of Us, we got a couple more minutes here left on here before we have to do one more commercial break probably. But Last of Us, how are you feeling about that? Finale's next week.
I'm liking it. I wish they would have done 10 episodes and not 9, but whatever. I think it's been getting good, but there's been a couple like, why did you have to do that? And yeah, I mean, almost 3.
Yeah, almost
3. But that's neither here nor there. I think it was really good, and then it started like, okay, are we straying from what we were doing originally?
Yeah.
And trying to push something else.
We ain't seen a zombie in a minute.
Right? So it's like, come on, guys. Yeah. Hopefully we get it back together.
Yeah, it's like it's dealing with a whole bunch of different like social norms and how the world would actually be in a post-apocalyptic world, even though like the aliens, the zombies aren't the main focus. It's just showing how it changed people, especially in this last episode, had the fucking priest / cannibal / pedophile dude, and we saw Ellie just go ham and kind of just find herself as a badass, killing people, chop dude in the neck, broke dude's fingers. He said, "Hey, my name's Ellie, the girl who broke your fucking hand." Yeah, you know what I'm saying? She went hard. She went hard in that episode. She had to take some lives, and you can tell she's been through some shit. And I'm excited to see the finale, but shit, I feel like this ended way too soon. Pablo Pascual is fucking balling right now.
Quick.
Yeah. He's got the Mandalorian started up right after Last of Us finished. Man, he's eating. He's eating. If you guys haven't seen any of these shows, go check them out. Go check them out because they're out right now, and we in full stride. As the spring spring is the time for music and shows and movie blockbusters and a whole bunch of shit like that. So if you ain't caught up right now, you need to before all that other shit come out. Lastly, let's talk about this TMNT trailer. Seth Rogen is revamping Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The animation is cool. It's just going to be just like the animation from Into the Spider-Verse. I enjoyed that a lot. We actually got teenagers voicing the turtles, so they sound like kids. The cast is crazy. To name a few, we got Paul Rudd, Giancarlo Esposito, Jackie Chan, Seth Rogen, John Cena, Maya Randolph, Ice Cube, Post Malone, Seth Rogen, Hannibal Buress. It's a whole bunch of people that are going to be in this, voicing some of your favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle characters. I mean, there has to be a market for this because they keep making this movie over and over and over.
For real, for
you know
real.
What I mean? Are you excited for this? Or are you going to see it?
I'm definitely going to see it. I don't know how excited I am for it. I think they're trying to piggyback a little bit off of the Spider-Man like cartoon vibe, which is understandable. It was pretty successful in coming out with another, so I can dig it. I'm gonna give it a chance, and we'll see. Because I was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan, so it's gonna stay in my heart too, right?
Yeah. In the preview, in the trailer, you see one of the turtles get stabbed in the leg by one of their weapons. So it's gonna be one of the first movies we see somebody actually get stabbed by one of the swords or one of Raphael's weapons. So I think that'll be cool too. Seth Rogen. Hopefully this movie is funny. Hopefully the action is cool. Animation gives you chances to do a whole bunch of shit that you probably wouldn't be able to do it regularly. But that's cool. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm excited for it. But this brings us to the end of the podcast. We fuck that commercial break. We just gonna end it right here. This is where I like to let the people know where to find you at. Daymo, where can they find you?
Daymo, I'm gonna be at IG at the Daymo Lee _POV. You know what I'm saying? Holla at me. That's where you can find me. Always a pleasure being on here. You might catch me next week.
Yeah.
Might catch me a week after that.
You know what I'm saying?
Always welcome, I'll be back.
You know what I'm saying? You're always welcome, always welcome. Everybody loves the guests on the podcast. It gives them, because they're tired of seeing me talk to myself all the time. So the more guests I get on here that I can bounce topics off of and we can go ahead and chop it up, shoot the shit, they enjoy that. So you know where to find your boy at. It's SAC_Lydell on the Instagram, Patrick_Lydell on the Snapchat. Anywhere you look for the Best of Bias, you can find me right there. Best of Bias website. We getting there. It's under construction. I've been saying that for like a year now, but hey, it's still under construction. If you're looking for us on the YouTube, Best of Bias just Best of Bias, and you'll see Growly right up there. Go ahead, click subscribe, leave a little comment, hit the bell so you get a reminder for when the videos drops and shit like that. 20 episodes coming, more anime kumite. We stopped that. We gotta get Deshaun in here so we can put some superheroes against some anime characters and battle it out, debate style. We stopped doing that. We need to get back into that because that's always fun. And also merch, man. Go get you some. We got this. Well, it's not a really good way to do it, but we got beanies, the new stuff. We got the new stuff. We got t-shirts still available. You know what I'm saying? Best of Bias with the Thunder, with Growly on there doing this electricity thing. We got the truckers still available. We got the buckets still available. Everything you need, you gotta just holler at me. Either on the website, hit me on the Instagram, hit me on the Twitter, hit me on the Snapchat.
Don't forget, nigga.
Oh yeah, there we go, right there. Growly on the back. If you need some of this fire merch, hit me up and don't hesitate to hit me up because it is going fast. We got hard eyes, we got regular. We're doing the doggy bandana, should be out really soon. They're already in production. So if you have an animal, have a pet dog specifically, we got a bandana for you. It's going to have Growly on it. It's going to have the Best of Bias podcast on it. If you want to rep with your animal, holla at me too for that. We got everything. It's the Best of Bias. We more than a podcast. You know what I'm saying? We merch gang. So yeah, thank you, Daymo, and everybody. Thank you for being here. Go enjoy your Friday. I know we've been talking for a while, and go ahead and give us 5 stars if you listen on Apple Podcasts too, because if we get 5 stars, I think it's 200 5-star reviews, we can be actually accredited as a movie review podcast. So that'll be tight for us. So if you can, go ahead and leave a little star review on there. But for now, go enjoy your Friday. Happy Women's Appreciation Day, even though we recorded this Wednesday and it's Friday when you're listening to this. But we appreciate women every day for what you do. We love y'all. Thank y'all. And where my theme song at?
Yeah. Boom.
It's the best of bias. You need the earful. You should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. The best of bias. Yeah. It's the best of bias.
You are now listening to the Best of Bias podcast.